Do you want to get this crazy damage where you're in luck? Because for today's video, I will be showing you my damage build and how I was able to get that damage. So sit back and relax, like and subscribe so you can have more contents like this in the future. So let's head on. For our stats, the melee we are using right now is the world. The world is actually stronger or, better than the Garo melee. It gives more DPS and yeah, it's actually a better melee overall. Make sure to reach blessing 10 for this melee so you can utilize the strongest output it can give. So for our sword, the sword we are currently using right now is the Dragon Goddess. You can get the Dragon Goddess by grinding in the Sea Beast, but it takes a while to actually get this weapon, and a best alternative would be the Ice Queen. The Ice Queen is also a solid pick, but for now, the best weapon we have is the Dragon Goddess. And also, make sure to reach Blessing 10 for this sword too, so you can utilize its maximum output. For our race, we are currently using the Luckborn. It is the best race we have right now for both damage and grinding. It gives 15% sword damage, 50% melee damage, and 80% damage, so that it's very long. And for grinding is very good because it has 35% luck multiplier, but we are currently focusing on damage output right now, so it doesn't really matter. So for our accessory, the best accessory we can get is the Kraken outfit, but it's actually hard to get, so some of the people actually stay with the world outfit. If you can get it to E10, it can get 132% damage buff, and currently I have the E6, so I am still working on this, but as you can see, the damage, even with E6, I was able to get that damage. So for our trait, the best trait we have right now, where's the trait? Tradey, where is trait? So for trait, the current best trait right now is still the Emperor, so there's nothing much here. They didn't actually add anything for the traits and for the races, so those two is actually the same as before. So Emperor gives 2.3 damage, which is actually very good. So another best alternative would be the Celestial. It is just 0.10 less damage than the Emperor, so that's a best pick too. So heading on to the rune. So currently the best rune we can have for damage right now is still the Primordial rune, which gives a plus 120% damage, which is very high. So if you're actually starting right now, my best tip for you is actually grind for Primordial rune before actually grinding for other things. It is a permanent buff, so once you get this, it is automatically going to improve your damage. So next is for our relics. So of course, the best relic we have right now for damage is the damage relic, which gives a plus 30% damage, very high. But if you're not able to get the damage relic, if you have a good crit build, you can get the crit damage relic, which is a solid. The best relic for damage is the damage relic, of course, because it is damage relic. So next is for our aura. So any aura that is legendary is a good aura. It gives plus 15% damage for legendary auras, and if you don't have any legendary aura, you can just get a epic aura, which gives a 12.5% damage, which is still good. And for cosmetic, it is the same. If you can get a legendary cosmetic, and it is very good. So still, it gives you 15% plus damage. And if you don't have this, you can still use the epic ones, which gives 12.5%. So next one is for our title. So currently, the best title we have right now is the Dragon Queen. So Dragon Queen is obtainable in the Sea Beast hunt. You have to grind for Sea Beast to actually get the Dragon Queen title. So it gives 97.5% damage, but it's very high. But currently I am using right now is the Time Tyrant, which gives 92.5% damage. This title is obtainable from the Dio boss, from the Bizarre Island. So if you can grind that, you can actually get this title, and it gives you very good buff. And also, if you have the cosmic being, which is the Garu, if you can get this, you can get this by grinding for Garu in the Punch Island. This title is actually harder to get than the Time Tyrant because the Garu boss only spawns for every 30 minutes. So if you can have the Time Tyrant, then this would be your best pick. But if you have the Dragon Queen, this is the best pick. So heading on for our spec passive. So for spec passive for damage, the best you can have for damage is the Rampage spec passive. So it is still the current best spec passive, so they didn't add much here. So still it gives you this very high damage buff, so you can get between from 15% to 30%. So it gives you crit rate, it gives you crit damage. So one thing that is also good for Rampage is that every time you hit something, your damage progressively gets better, but it reaches a damage cap which is 1.15 to 1.3 times. It is still very good. So no matter how you look at it, it is still a good damage buff. So next for the power, so they added a new power, which is the Subjugator. It gives you 24 to 40% damage. It has higher crit chance, it has higher crit damage, but still for damage wise, for the best pick you can still have is the Colossus, especially if you're actually grinding for bosses, because of the passive it can give for you, which is 15 to 25% more damage to bosses. So this is better to have than the Subjugator, but still Subjugator is also still a good, damage pick. But still for bosses, since we all are grinding for bosses, Colossus is still the best pick you can have. Next is for our artifacts. So artifacts is a very crucial thing to have. So my best pick for artifacts is actually achieving the 1:2 ratio for crit chance and crit damage. So basically, if you have, let's say, 50% crit chance, you should have a 100% crit damage. So 1:2. So if you have 100% crit chance, then your crit damage should be 200%. It is very good, so you can always crit. Whenever you're hitting, your damage is always crits. It will give you more damage. So let's head on for my artifact belt. So the best artifact set you can have right now is the Abyssal. So the Abyssal gives a crit damage, 20% crit damage for 2-piece. But if you are able to get the 4-piece, it will give you 12.5% crit chance and 20% damage, which is very good for our damage build. So for our helmet, our main stat is HP, but the substat is the one we are currently focusing here. So make sure to have a crit chance, crit damage, or damage for your helmet. Next is for our gloves. So gloves give a damage main stat. So for our substats, make sure to have a crit damage or crit chance. Both is very good. And also if you can get damage in here, that is actually very good too. Now for our body, I recommend you to get the crit chance main stat, because more crit chance means more crits. So if you have a higher crit chance, then you will hit more crits and leading to a better damage overall. So if you can get a crit damage for the body or damage, that is very good. For substats, make sure to have crit damage, or or if you can get both, that is very good. For our boots, so the best pick we have for our main stat is the damage. So for our substats, make sure to get, if you can't crit damage or crit chance or damage, but if you get all of it, that is very beneficial, and it will improve your damage very good. So yeah, for our artifacts, make sure to actually reach that ratio. Not that very close to that ratio, but very close to it. As long as you can get more crits, then your damage will be higher than not actually critting. So for our next is the skill tree. So for our skill tree, make sure to have all of this unlocked: the crit damage, crit chance, and the damage. So every unlock you can have for damage, you can get plus 5%. For crit damage, you're gonna get also 5%. For crit chance, you get 1% each unlock. So make sure to grind for skill points. You can get skill points by just actually grinding NPCs. So make sure to grind for that and complete the skill tree. Next is our boss rush upgrades. So make sure to max the damage, crit damage, and crit chance for our boss rush. Grind as much rush coins you can so you will be able to max out these stats. So a max damage can get you 25%, max crit damage can get you 15%, and for crit chance, you can get 5% for the max. And for our tower, this is also beneficial. It's the same as the boss rush. Make sure to max out all of these stats so you can have better, damage. You can get those crazy damage that I was doing earlier. So as you can see, I didn't even max out the damage and crit damage, but I was able to get that crazy damage. I think that's all, bro. Yeah, basically all. So for our last overview of our stats, this is the stats we have. So 1051 damage percent, we have 25% sword damage, we have 25% melee damage, we got 100% crit chance, and we got 225.5% crit damage from that build alone. So if you can follow my build, if you can copy my build, then that is very, very good. Or you can actually even be better than my build because I have not even maxed out some of my parts yet. So make sure to max out all of it, the tower, the boss rush, the blessings, the enchantments for your the outfits. If you can get that, it is very good. Thank you for tuning in, guys, and if you reach this video, I'm actually doing a Garo set giveaway. So all you have to do is comment down below max damage and subscribe to my channel so you will be able to enter the giveaway. So that is all, everyone. Hopefully I helped you to make you deal more damage than ever, and that is all. See you in the next one.